Welcome back into We Know Ball. I'm Connor Fuchsa.
I'm Alyssa Brandon.
I'm Mason Bello.
Now, we've taken a couple weeks, maybe a couple months off. It's been a busy semester for us. We're back, and this time we're filming it on Tuesday, and we're going to post it this week. So last night was the Monday Night Football game, Cincinnati Bengals versus Cowboys. We got to start there, and also because it was the Cowboys, obviously, repping the March.
Not biased at all.
Yeah, not biased at all. We're completely unbiased
Unbiased
at the
reporters.
show. We've got a Cowboys hater at the table. It's
Right.
fine. But we got to start off talking about the dominant performances from the Bengals offensive players. I feel like first and foremost, we got to start with Jamar Chase. Start with 7-11. He was wearing the merch before the game. He's always open, but he's not lying. He had 14 catches, 177 yards, 2 touchdowns. What were y'all's thoughts on his performance?
I thought he was awesome. I thought he did really great, and Joe Burrow does a great job of finding him with the ball. I just think they work really well together. But not that I'm taking away any props from him, but I do think the Dallas secondary is really, even though Deron Bland was back, it's very depleted, and we get burned a lot and leave a lot of holes open. So I think it was a perfect setup for Jamar Chase to have a great game. Not that he's not a great player, but I think Dallas's weaknesses in the secondary had a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
It felt like watching that game. It was Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase versus the entire Cowboys roster.
And they were winning.
But yeah, exactly. And except maybe a little Chase Brown.
Oh, yeah.
It felt like it was just, I felt like it was just them two the whole time. Yeah. Like, it was just the deep shots always open, especially, like you said, against the Cowboys secondary. So, yeah, it was backyard football for them.
Yeah. It just felt like the Bengals had the Cowboys' defensive playbook and knew where the gaps were going to be in the zone every time. It felt like we were playing zone at a high rate for some reason, and Chase was just always finding the most open gap there was. Like, he was on – the amount of times I saw him on that left sideline in the probably exact same gap, just 5 yards away from the closest defender when the ball was being thrown to him. It's like – they just knew exactly what we were going to run and found all the gaps. And, it was an easy night for Chase, honestly. It was not a hard-fought 177. It was a pretty easy night.
Which is hard, too, for the Cowboys, though, because, what are you going to do? Put somebody man-to-man against him? They're going to lose that way, too.
Yeah.
So, I don't, knock them at all for hitting a lot of zone, but,
Trot Trevon Diggs back out there.
Honestly, Diggs and Bland are good corners. They are. Obviously, yes, they do get burned. That's their problem. They're good at getting interceptions. They're, they can be good in man coverage, but obviously, yes, they sometimes can get burned. But
Malik Hooker had a really good pick last night, too.
He did, yeah. And, the couple times I saw Diggs manned up one-on-one, he actually wasn't really losing. Those were the kind of the routes that Chase wasn't being targeted as much, I felt like. Yeah. It was just the zone that they were completely picking apart. And if it wasn't Chase, like you mentioned, the other Chase, actually, Chase Brown, they would just, if he couldn't get open, he just goes 5 yards out, Burrow could just dump it to him, and he can go run for 20 yards, every single time.
Yeah. But I feel like the reason why they were able to burn the secondary and basically the whole defense is Mike Zimmerman probably doesn't change his defensive scheming.
Yeah.
So you just look at the last game they played, you can see exactly what defense they run, and you know how to stop.
And I feel like the hard part, too, was the pass rush, which is crazy because we've got our pass rushers back. Obviously, we can mention Overshown. I don't want to talk about it. Him now for the season.
That was gruesome.
That was bad.
Yeah.
But Micah...
That man has been through too much.
Yeah. What annoys me, though, about Micah, it's not Micah's fault, is he's so good, but they won't let him sack the quarterback. He got probably 3 or 4 holding calls just called on him because if he's going to beat the guy, they just hold him. Yeah. That's all. No, they don't let him get to the quarterback at all. I kept mentioning to Mason because there was probably 3 or 4 times that Cody Ford on the left side, who's not normally a starter, literally held Micah. He held him multiple times, didn't get called, but it kept getting called because if Micah got one step on him, just holding and just restart the play. That was it. That was their entire game plan.
Let's just get penalties so we can reset.
Exactly. But you know what? It's a smart strategy. Yeah. Honestly, more teams that have injury-prone quarterbacks, not saying Burrow is, but I'm saying that have injury-prone quarterbacks need to just hold instead of giving up sacks. You know what? If you're going to lose the 10 yards anyways, might as well keep the down.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
But yeah, the pass rush just couldn't get there besides Micah. They got 1 sack. And if they were getting in there, they were all inside, and Burrow could just go outside and extend the play. And so with no pass rush, of course, you've got plenty of time to find the gaps in the zone.
Yeah.
But moving over to the Cowboys, there was a little bright spot, I would say. And I would say it's Rico Dowdle. So
yeah, for sure.
For the beginning of the season, we're talking about how the Cowboys have the worst rushing offense in the league, by far. No running backs, nothing. Now they've got 3 O-linemen out. You'd think it got worse, but then back-to-back games, Dowdle's got 100 yards.
Yeah. That's what I was honestly really confused about, too, because, like you said, a lot of our linemen went down. Cooper Beebe went out with a concussion. And before, in years past, even when we've had Tony Pollard, when we have injuries to our starting O-line, we do not do a good job of replacing them. Our depth there, I think, is severely lacking. So I think it honestly just shows Dowdle's growth and his ability to make plays without necessarily hitting those big gaps. So I think he's grown a lot as a player and a rusher, and maybe that was McCarthy's plan for him all along, was kind of just to get him settled in. He knew he needed just a couple more games to get adjusted to the offense, and that he would really explode like he has. So props to him.
I think it's just like your specialty, basically. So the starting line, they're probably more pass focused. Like, we got to block for the pass, run secondary. You put those backups in, maybe they're better at run blocking.
I was thinking that last night, because obviously we know Zach Martin. Obviously he's out for the season. His whole thing is he's made 7 All-Pros and given up 6 sacks in his career. So his pass blocking is amazing. I'm wondering if these backups, like you said, are more run block focused. That could be part of the reason why the run game is opened up. Because there really is no other explanation. I mean, you've got, again, 3 O-linemen out. And then also the fact that usually, again, it's the pass game opens up the run. So when Dak's in, the run game should be better, yet it's now been better with Cooper Rush.
Yeah.
So it's been really confusing.
Yeah. I honestly just feel bad for Dak, too, because, I mean, we talked about this last night. He just hit all the hard games while he was healthy.
Yeah.
And now that he's not healthy and Cooper Rush is in, they're playing these soft defenses like the Bengals, where Dak could have probably carved them up in the passing game, but he doesn't have that chance to. So.
Yeah, now
That's funny.
There's the Panthers. Yeah.
That is funny.
What do you mean that's funny?
Yeah.
Dak would have carved him up. Let's be
Yeah,
honest.
in
They
garbage
played,
time.
Can we talk
They
about your
played-
team's record again
Yeah,
for
hold
a
on.
second?
We haven't mentioned the Patriots on the show for a while because they don't do anything worth noting. Okay.
It's a rebuilding season.
But besides the point, I do want to bring up another point here. So we're talking about obviously injuries now, over, shown down. Cowboys have been riddled with injuries this year. Dak's out. Now is it 4-8? I think. No, it's 5. We've got 5. It's 5-8.
5-8.
They're 5-8 on the season. At what point do we shut down CeeDee Lamb? Because I'm watching last night's game, and he's watching with me. Every single time he goes down, it's just I cringe. Like, because also he doesn't know how to not fall on his right shoulder. Like, it's not like he's trying to favor it. He just goes straight down on that right shoulder every time, gets up hurt, and then keeps playing. At what point is it not worth it to let him sustain a long-term injury in a season where we're 5-8?
Yeah. In my opinion, if I were the head coach right now, I would have already benched the starters. Honestly, we still were in contention before this game, but now that you've really mathematically been eliminated, it's time to let everyone take a seat and just play for next year, because even before this game, on the off chance, by a million surprises happen, that you do get into the playoffs, you don't have the depth. You have all these injuries racking up that you can't make any waves in the playoffs, so what's the point of even getting there? So, to me, I think everyone needs to be done. I think everyone needs to sit down. Micah Parsons needs to sit down. Lamb
Micah's
needs
not
to sit
going to sit. So that's
That's
I think Lamb should, because he's banged up. But I don't know if he will, but he should because he's banged up. Micah is never going to sit down.
I feel like to the league, though, when you bench all your starters, doesn't that look like you're purposely
Oh
taking?
yeah, no, you can't bench all your starters. I know we
Yeah.
should, but we can't do that. That would
That's illegal.
That would literally be tanking, and that would be illegal. We'd get fined. A guy like CeeDee, though, because
everyone. Just saying,
just a couple guys.
Yeah.
No, I mean I think
Your favorites.
Yeah.
I think honestly we should be putting some of these guys on snap counts. I think that could be the way to go. Like honestly, I saw Mike off the field more than normal last night. They kept showing him going off the field, and I think that's what we need to do. We need to play him less to prevent injury. Same with Diggs, same with Bland. CD, honestly, we could just shut down because he is banged up. But yeah, we can't actually bench the starters, or that would be tampering.
That's fair.
But enough about the Cowboys. I don't want to talk about this team no more. They're done. There's a lot of bad things we can say about them. Let's move to a positive light, and let's go over to the other conference. Let's go to the AFC. Let's go to the Buffalo Bills. Let's go to Josh Allen.
Woo.
2 back-to-back dominant performances. Last week, the first quarterback ever with a passing, receiving, and rushing touchdown in the same game. And then backs that up this week with the most fantasy points ever for a quarterback, scoring 6 touchdowns, having over 400 yards.
Yeah.
Is he the MVP? Is this the MVP?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
like-
there's no one else who's putting up those numbers. So
Exactly.
I mean, I think there is other people putting up those numbers. If you look at Lamar Jackson, he's passed. I'm about to return on my case. Just let me speak for a minute.
No, Lamar does have a case.
Lamar
He
has
does.
200 more passing yards than Josh Allen does. He has 2 less interceptions than Josh Allen does. The only area that Josh Allen is leading Lamar Jackson is Josh Allen has 9 rushing touchdowns on the year, and Lamar Jackson only has 3. And that's a stark difference from what we've seen from Lamar in the past, and that's because they have, obviously, Derrick Henry now. So, I do think Lamar's our stats are a little bit better, but if we're looking at valuableness to the team, because the Ravens have Derrick Henry to rely on in the running game as well, then Lamar's Jackson rushing attack isn't as valuable. Therefore, Josh Allen as a rusher and making all those rushing touchdowns for them, he has more value to the team. Therefore, he should be MVP, even though his stats technically aren't better.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree.
It's basically Josh Allen on that team.
Yeah, and Josh, honestly, and I'm going to be completely honest, y'all know this at the beginning of the season. I picked the Bills as that one. The Ravens and the Bills were the two teams I said I thought were going to take a step back this year because of the losses both teams took. Ravens actually have a little bit. They're 8-4. They're not leading the division. Their defense has been pretty bad.
Yeah.
But the Bills I was completely wrong about. They're I honestly thought without Stephon Diggs, I didn't think Khalil Shakir could hold down the fort. I thought Kincaid, that's basketball. Dalton Kincaid would step up, but he hasn't even been the one to step up. It's been Shakir. It's been James Cook has stepped up. Yeah. And then now they obviously traded for Mark Cooper. We couldn't have predicted that. But he doesn't really have a great receiving core around him, great supporting cast. Obviously, he's got a defense that gave up 44 yesterday.
Yeah.
And they're 10-2, right? Or 10-3. It's 10-2 or 10-3. And they're second in the AFC.
Yeah.
That is the definition of MVP. Yeah. That is the definition of MVP. If you can put up 6 touchdowns and 400 yards and your team doesn't win, yeah, they need you. They need you bad.
Yeah.
Also, another stat I thought just was funny yesterday because I saw it on Instagram. Kyron Williams, who's a really good running back, in that game against the Bills, 87 yards, 2 touchdowns. Josh Allen as a quarterback, 84 yards, 3 touchdowns rushing.
Wow.
He's basically getting the stats of a running back. Obviously, James Cook had a really bad game, so Allen carried the rushing attack and then still threw for 340 and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I think no one else is doing it like he is now, so I think he does deserve to be the MVP, even though there's Lamar, there's whatever, but I think he's got this year.
Yeah. The only other debate would be Saquon. If we want to go non-quarterback award,
yeah.
The valuableness of Saquon, I mean, he's leading the league in rushing, but again, how valuable can we say a guy is when he's in an offense with Hurts, Brown, Smith, one of the best O-lines in the league.
And when they almost lost to the Panthers this past week.
Who have the worst rushing attack in the league.
Well, also, you could say Josh Allen could win MVP, Saquon Barkley, offensive player of the year.
No, I definitely think, now Chase put up a case for offensive, that kind of rhymed, but not on purpose. Chase put up a case for offensive player of the year. Obviously, Henry is still up for it, but yeah, I honestly would say Saquon is leading in offensive player of the year. But that's enough for award talk. We're going to talk about the Chiefs when we get back from commercial break.
Computer issue? Meet AB Computers, Stillwater's trusted experts in computer repairs. We understand how important your devices are to you. That's why we offer fast turnaround times, so you're never disconnected for long.
Hello, my name is Roger Smith. I'm the owner of AB Computers here in Stillwater. I offer excellent services for repairs, upgrades, custom build of systems. I do Mac and PC repair. I've got best prices on pretty much everything you can look for.
We service all types of computers, from PCs and gaming rigs to tablets and everything in between. Whatever your tech needs, AB Computers is your one-stop solution. Whether it's a locked screen, a sluggish system, or any other tech trouble, AB Computers has you covered. Visit us at 211 North Perkins Road, Suite number 10, right next to Walmart. Our new location offers easy access and plenty of parking, making it more convenient than ever to get the expert help you need.
Ace in the Bowl salsa started many, many years ago. I was trying to find a recipe to take to a family gathering, and so I started messing around with different recipes, and I took a little bit from here and a little bit from there, and I came up with a salsa that is truly unique. Ace in the Bowl salsa is an olive oil-based salsa with tomatoes, green chilies, green onions, and black olives. There's no sugar added, it's gluten-free, low calorie, low carb, low fat, low sodium. So it's a very, very, very good alternative to any snack you may want. As of right now, I'm just looking to be in Oklahoma and having a successful business within the state. If my grandkids could ever take it over when they're old enough, that would be my dream.
Welcome back into We Know Ball. Now, right before the commercial break, we mentioned we're going to talk about the Chiefs. Yesterday, obviously Sunday, or not yesterday, I guess it would have been Sunday, another escape plan. And so I just kind of quickly wanted to run down their their magic, whatever you want to call it, Mahomes magic, whatever you want to call it, they have 9-0 one-possession games this year, and it's not just one-possession games. Not like a lot of 7-point wins, a lot of like 7 to 8-point wins where it's misleading. It's one possession.
Yeah.
No, they've had all of these crazy wins. Like they've got the blocked field goal against the Broncos. They've had game-winning field goals against the Panthers, and then the game-winning field goal against the Chargers this past week with the doink off the upright. Yeah. They had the Raiders fumble a snap 2 weeks ago in field goal range. They had that no PI call against the Falcons. They had the PI call against the Bengals. That was PI, though. And they had the Isaiah Likely out by one toe in the first week to win that game.
Yeah, they're the luckiest team in the NFL.
Yeah, but that luck has now led them to the top of the AFC and by a 2-game margin. So let's talk about that. Let's get into some playoff predictions. At the beginning of the year, we did our playoff predictions. Obviously, we were decently wrong. Probably. I don't even want to recap that. We'll see. We can find it on social media.
Did you not have the Bengals at the first seed?
I did.
Okay.
I said let's not recap that.
Okay, got it.
I had the Bengals in my Super Bowl.
Yeah, I had the Niners, so I can't.
Oh, also bad.
Yeah. Yours is the only one looking good, actually.
Yeah,
so you start this, actually.
Okay, yeah.
AFC.
So, mine looks slightly different, but, I mean, I had the Chiefs and the Lions in the Super Bowl, both coming in at 1 seed. Right now, I have the Chiefs now projected as the 2 seed, and the Lions as the 1 seed still.
Wait, that's different divisions.
Yeah.
What?
That's different conferences.
Oh, yeah. Wait.
Do you want Mason to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
Mason.
Okay. I have, so in the AFC, I have the Chiefs up top. I've got the Bills. Those are 2. They've already locked in the positions.
They've already got their divisions.
Yeah. At 3, I have the Steelers.
Okay. Still, they holding on.
Holding on.
North. Yep.
And then I have the Texans, obviously. Colts are just on the down spiral. They're not going to make it. And then Ravens, Chargers, Broncos. I mean, the AFC, it's pretty chalk. I mean, there's nobody. You go into, like, the hut or whatever, the bubble, the teams on the bubble. You have the Colts, who are, like, 27%, and then I think it's the next team with, like, 10.
Yeah.
There's, like, 3 teams on there. If you look on the NFC side, there's, like, 10 teams on there. So the Cowboys are still in it.
Yeah. Now, for my AFC, I mean, actually, my AFC race, when I did all the numbers, put all the records together, actually ended closer than I thought. Dolphins and Bengals both made a comeback. They both were right at knocking at that door, but neither of them made the playoffs. So I've got a pretty similar playoff to you. I've got Chiefs 1, Bills 2. That's pretty much locked in already at this point in the season. I've got Ravens 3, though. I really don't believe in this Steelers team, and I don't see them. I see them going 2-2 or 1-3 in this final stretch of the season. I think the Ravens can go 3-1, and then they take over the AFC North. Because the Steelers, they've been really weird this year. They've been beating the really good teams, but losing to the worst teams, which is kind of where it's been. They've lost the Cowboys this year, but they've been beating teams like Ravens, Commanders, like all those really good teams. But
I feel like that game, the 21st.
Or the Browns, too, yeah.
No, the 21st of this month.
Yeah.
When they play each other.
Yes, yeah, they play each other. Steelers also still have to see the Chiefs this year. So they've got a tough schedule. I mean, I guess they've been beating the good teams, so I'm kind of contradicting myself there. But I still think Ravens get 3 seed, Texans 4 seed, Chargers 5 seed. I like what Harbaugh is doing there. They seem like they've figured it out, and whatever formula they've got, they're winning.
Well, Herbert can stay healthy.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be coming back. I mean, he came back in the game this last Sunday, and he's supposed to be fine now. So.
Yeah. So I still got Chargers 5. I got Steelers 6, and I got Broncos 7.
Okay, so I have Steelers actually 3.
Okay.
So I have Steelers winning their division because, like you've said, they've beaten. Are we high-fiving? Okay. They've beaten the hard teams, and the Ravens have lost to the hard teams.
Yeah.
And I just believe so much in Mike Tomlin and just what they've been able to produce, just with their, even without George Pickens, who's going to be out, I think, for this coming week too. I think that they've just got a slight edge over the Ravens because the Ravens still are having trouble closing out close games.
Yeah.
And the Steelers haven't.
Okay, so I just went through the Steelers schedule again just to look at it again. They go Eagles into Ravens into Chiefs into Bengals. That they could realistically go 0-4 in that
But
stretch.
who would be the team to beat the Chiefs, honestly?
I actually have them beating the Chiefs.
That's what I have.
I actually have them beating the Chiefs. I just have them losing the other 3.
The Chiefs have struggled against the Raiders. They've struggled against the Panthers. Like, why would this Steelers team not beat them?
Yeah.
I don't.
No, I
don't
actually
have an
did
answer
have
to
the
that.
Steelers beating the Chiefs. I just didn't have them beating any of the other 3.
You don't have them beating the Bengals?
No. I don't think they'll do it twice. They already did it. I don't think they'll do it twice. Bengals are starting to get things together. They're looking in the right direction. And honestly, it'll be another shootout probably.
Yeah.
And I like Burrow and Chase more than. I don't think Steelers drop 44 on them again. I don't think that's happening. So for that reason, I think the Bengals take that one. But yeah, we're pretty chalk. The really one we're going to have to debate is over on the NFC side.
Yeah.
There are so many teams battling out for spots. I still don't even know what I want.
Yeah.
So Mason, kick it off again. What do you got for your NFC side?
Well, again, I've got the top two, Lions, Eagles,
Yeah,
already locked in
pretty
their
chalk.
spot. Lions haven't locked in their division.
No.
Yeah.
They not, I think, don't they play Vikings week 18?
They play.
And it's for the division, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty
They
sure
play.
they
They have like a rough actually outing for the rest of.
Yeah, they play Vikings week 18.
Mm-hmm.
So if they both go perfect or if they both lose one game before that point,
It'll
that's
be that
for the
game.
division.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a
they
conference
don't-
championship.
Yeah,
Basically.
they don't have the 1 seed locked.
No. And again, if they lose a game, then the Eagles can take the 1 seed.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. And then at number 3, I have the Seahawks. I don't think the Rams
That's very interesting.
are
That
going
is
to take it,
very
That is very
and I
interesting.
don't think the Cardinals are going to take it either. Definitely because the Seahawks and the Cardinals have to play each other this coming week, so we'll definitely see in that game. 4,
Wait, I have a question.
yeah.
So, the Seahawks play the Packers, then the Vikings, then they play the Bears, but then they play the Rams. So that's Packers, Vikings, Rams, all teams fighting for.
you have them.
Playoff
How many?
spots.
What do you have their record at? Do you have them? Because they're currently at 7 wins. Do you have them? What do you have them?
So
ending
they've got to
as?
win like 3 of those.
They got to win like 3 of those to win the division.
I don't see them
I'm
winning
pretty
3.
sure I had them at 10-7.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I have them at 7-10. I have them losing all 4 of those. I had them losing
Good
the Bears.
Lord, Connor.
I do not believe in this
I have
Seahawks
them
team.
at-
You never have, and
I
you're
never
getting
will. It's
surprised.
Geno Smith.
You're getting surprised every single week that they're winning games, and I'm telling you that this is a good squad with JSN, K9 when he's healthy.
Yeah,
and
I mean
then
Charbonnet looked great though.
Charbonnet
I
did
still
look
have them
great.
at 10
Geno
and 7,
Smith.
but I have them at 3 and 3 in the division. And because I have 3 teams, this is what I want to talk about: the 3 teams in the NFC North who are all going to make it over the Seahawks, so that there's no 1 and 2 in that division.
No, Sam. So you keep going. You're at 3. Go through 4, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, sorry.
3 teams. Okay.
I have 3.
Um,
That's not
That's
crazy.
the best division in the NFC.
oh wait, I have 3 teams. Never mind. I thought.
It's because you have them beating the Rams. You have them winning the division over the Rams. I have the Rams winning that division.
Yeah. At 4, I have the Falcons.
Yeah, Sam.
Um,
Carco.
Because the Falcons, look at this. Falcons
That's
play Raiders, Giants, Commanders, Panthers.
Yeah.
Bucks play Chargers, Cowboys, Panthers, Saints.
So
I
they
still
both got
see. I
pretty
still see
easy.
the Bucks winning that
Yeah.
easily.
So
Falcons are winning all 4 games.
probably. I mean, they might not
Bucks
lose.
are probably winning 3 out of 4 of those.
Okay.
So therefore, then
yeah,
Falcons
the
win the
Falcons will
division.
win.
Maybe 4 out of 4.
Because Falcons have the tiebreaker. They've won both the games against the Bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how have the Falcons looked lately? How has Kirk Cousins
Kirko's
looked
got 7
lately?
interceptions and no touchdowns in the last.
Yeah.
No, I understand that,
Yeah.
but these are the worst teams in the NFL besides the Commanders. These are
Yeah.
the worst teams in the NFL.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. What's your 5, 6, 7?
I got Vikings, Green Bay, Commanders.
Commanders. Okay. So
That's
you got
how-
Bucks missing the playoffs then.
Yeah, they're at the 8th
In the
seed.
bubble, yeah.
That's
Okay.
crazy. Okay. I have Lions, Eagles, like you already said.
Yep.
And then I have Bucks at the 3 seed because I think they're winning the NFC South
Okay.
over the Falcons.
Do you think they're 10-7 or 11-6?
Let me look. I think I got 11-6.
So you got them going. You're winning. They're winning out.
They're winning out.
They're winning
I
out.
believe in
Okay.
Baker Mayfield.
Wow.
Okay. I believe
I
in Baker
believe
Mayfield
in
too.
Rashad White. Rashad White dropped like 25 fantasy points.
Yep.
Bucky Irving.
Once he's healthy.
Killing it too.
Evans.
Yeah, Mike
Evans got to get to 1,000 somehow.
That offense is legit. And that's what I said at the beginning of the year. Did I not say it at the
No, you
beginning
did.
of the
You
year?
called that.
And was I right?
You
Yeah.
called that. I like that we're basically all kind of holding to our guns from
Yeah.
the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
I'm holding to it. Besides my take about the Titans making the playoffs, I don't want to talk about
Yeah,
that.
wait, I didn't hear that on the AFC side. Where were the Titans? We forgot
Anyways,
about that.
everyone can be wrong about something, right? It's fine.
Who was your team that you said was going to miss the playoffs? Your hot take, like week 2 or week 3? 'Cause I said Seahawks. He said Bengals. You said like a
don't
1
think
and
we-
2 team. I don't know. We
I
can
don't
figure it out
know.
later.
Okay, so I have Bucks at 3. Then I have the Rams at 4. I firmly believe that the Rams are going to win their division because they just put up 44 points on the Bills. They were in a shootout with the Bills, and they won.
Yeah.
Like, Matt Stafford in that offense, Puka Nacua had 40-something fantasy points. Like, I don't see... If you're to rate the Rams offense versus the... other offense?
Cardinals, Seahawks?
No.
Bills.
Yeah, anyways. I just think the Rams offense is so much better, and so they're going to win.
Let's compare their defense now.
Okay.
Yeah, no, defense. I mean, Seahawks probably have the best defense in that division.
Yeah.
If I were to say, probably so far. I mean, Niners if they're healthy, but Niners are just, they're out of it now.
Yeah, they're out.
Poor.
For me, though, I've got Lions 1, Eagles 2. We all agree with that. No debate. 3 seed, I honestly don't even know. Rams, Cardinals play, and the winner of that's winning the division. I'm going to go Rams,
Yeah.
but I don't love it because, like you said, I don't trust that defense. Like, their offense is going to have to put up 30 a game to win. However, they easily can because they've got Kupp, Nakua, Kyron, Stafford. Like, that offense can put up 30 a game, but if against the Cardinals, last time they played the Cardinals, I think they absolutely crapped the bed. Like, they got blown out by the Cardinals. It was like 42 to like 10.
Well, the thing is, they play the 49ers, the Jets, and the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Those are all teams that I see them being able to score 40 points on.
What was I'm saying? The Cardinals last time they played them, though, they got blown out.
Yeah.
So that's the championship. That's their conference championship right there. I think Seahawks are out of it, in my opinion. They've got too hard of a schedule, and I'm not a Seahawks believer, obviously. So it's Rams Cardinals that week. I think 17 matchup is what wins the division, and I have the Rams taking that. 4 seed, I've got the Falcons. I'm with Mason on this in a sense of their schedule is really easy. I have them going 10-7, so I have them losing. Going 3-1, I think, in that stretch.
Commanders, probably.
I think I have them beating Commanders. I think I have them losing a random one. I try to be realistic and have random upsets in here because that's kind of what happens in the NFL. Vikings 5 seed, easy. Packers 6 seed, easy. And I have the Bucks at the 7 seed going 10-7. I have the Commanders. I don't know what the record is, but I have them going 10-7. Same record as Bucks, and apparently that gives Bucks the tiebreaker. So
did they play?
So you have Commanders. You have Commanders at 7.
I have Commanders at 8. They're out of the playoffs.
So
I have the
they're
Commanders missing the playoffs, and I
Wow.
have the Bucks making it at the 7th seed. I think, again, Baker Mayfield, I really trust him. I think he can win 3 of the last 4. That's not unrealistic. And you look at the Commanders, I have them beating the Cowboys, I think, week 18, just because, But they play the Falcons. We already talked about that. I have the Falcons winning. They play the Eagles. They're not beating the Eagles. And then I have them beating the Saints. But if they go 2-2 in the last stretch, and both the Bucks and the Falcons go 3-1, Commanders are not in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I think the Commanders, they've slowed down. They've kind of fallen off a little bit. Obviously, they lost to the Cowboys recently. I just don't think they've got that same firepower and that same, they had a lot of momentum. They lost it now. And I think that is going to cost them at the end of the day, and they're going to miss the playoffs.
Yeah,
So we talk playoff talk. When we come back, we're going to get into some hot takes, and then we're going to switch over to some college football.
Pecans are staple to Oklahoma. In fact, many of our native pecans come from trees that are older than Oklahoma statehood.
My father's the one that got us started into the pecan picking. I was probably 10 or 12 years old, and we started off with one little mechanical picker that you pulled behind a four-wheeler. Then we'd go home at night and we'd clean them on a TV tray. I guess watching my dad work hard when we were young, and people started trusting him and getting more and more groves, we just kept growing.
Being a relatively new and fresh company, we get to sit in the same room with people who have been a part of the Oklahoma economy for decades.
It's opened a lot of doors. It's gave us quite a bit of exposure, and I think people, will take a small company like us a little more serious. We're just going to continue growing as long as our community lets us and our customers keep on buying, and we'll see where it takes us.
Welcome back into We Know Ball. Now, before the break, we talked about our playoff predictions. There was a couple actually hot takes in that.
Yeah.
But let's get into hot takes. Now, on the season, we've actually been doing pretty good as a squad on our hot takes. So, Alyssa, how about you kick it off with your hot take this time?
Okay. My hot take is not really surrounding any playoff teams. I want to talk about Bryce Young and Bryce Young as a quarterback. I think a lot of people doubted him at the beginning of the season, and for sure, I think it was a verified fact that next year the Panthers would have to be moving on to someone else at quarterback. My hot take is that Bryce Young will still be the starter of the Carolina Panthers next year, and he's a verified NFL quarterback. Since he came back into the Panthers lineup starting under center October 27th, he's 2-4 in the last 6 games, which isn't great, but he's strung 2 wins for the Panthers in a row. In those last games, he has a 56.0 QBR, which is 22nd among NFL quarterbacks, which is in the top 32, and it's right now above Geno Smith and CJ Stroud, which is crazy. No one would have thought that.
Yeah.
In the first 4 games, though, his QBR was 28.2. And that's, embarrassing, and that's why everyone was like, okay, he's not legit, he cannot do this. But now he's leading this team really, really well and making the Panthers be contenders in games that they shouldn't be contenders in. And so I think he's just made a huge leap, and that he should be the starter, whether that is for the Panthers or for another team. And I think a lot of people counted him out. So that's my hot take.
And he's still doing it with no help around him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got Chuba Hubbard, OSU legend. Let's go.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I mean, his top receiving targets are like Dante Moore, Xavier Legette.
Yeah.
He's thrown to the
Adam
rookie.
Thielen is going off.
Thielen actually has
King.
doing decent. But yeah, ever since they traded Deontay Johnson.
You know what? That's a good wide receiver core. Thielen, Legette.
Okay, Adam
Moore.
Thielen is probably like 37,
I would say.
36.
Oh, it's
Actually,
definitely
I'll
his
look
last
that up.
year.
Thielen age.
Hey,
He's
my
definitely
fantasy back in
34.
my fantasy team back in middle school was called I Got a Thielen, and I went, I think, like 15-1 or something.
So
So
it was at that 1 year Thielen had like a crazy.
Yeah.
He was
season.
great with Diggs. Like,
I got
he was
a Thielen,
underrated.
man.
But yeah, no, I definitely agree. Honestly, we talked about this off the camera too. Different kind of hot take. Outside of the top 2 quarterbacks in this class, there isn't amazing quarterback class coming out of college this year.
Yeah.
Like I think we all know Shador and Ward are going 1 and 2. Like not 1 and 2 overall, but like top 2 picks. So they'll probably go to the Raiders and Giants. If that's the case, Carolina doesn't even have anyone to really pick.
Yeah.
I don't think Milroe is that much better of a prospect than what they already have in Young. So
I
they
think
might as well
Dylan
just ride.
Gabriel is a really good prospect.
Gabriel could be.
But like,
but
why
people are
start
gonna-
over all the way from scratch when I feel like people have learned with certain quarterbacks, like when they're not the top 2, there's a progression and like they have to learn. And so why start all the way over from scratch when you have someone in Bryce Young who can be that guy?
Yeah. So I definitely can. I agree with that honestly, especially with how he's been balling recently. Played against the Chiefs is good. Mason, what do you got?
So for my hot take, I told you guys this one already, but I'm gonna go with Brock Bowers, Rookie of the Year, winner.
Yeah.
He's at plus 1,200 odds. I know it sounds like, oh yeah, well definitely, but he's number 1 in receptions, and they're like, yeah, okay, that's fine, but he's like the 4th one.
In receiving
Fourth in the
yards?
race.
No, sorry, the fourth
Fourth
one.
in
in
Oh, fourth
odds.
best. Yeah, he's got the
Yeah.
4th best odds for a current Rookie of the Year candidate, and he's 4th in receiving yards in the entire NFL, and he's 1st in receptions in the entire NFL. Broke the NFL tight end rookie receptions record, and it's only week 14.
Yeah,
And yet somehow it's still Daniels and Nix.
Sam Laporta broke that same record last year, and he didn't win anything.
That's because tight ends get no respect.
I know Titans get no love. Like
So
what is
now
this?
we're gonna flip the script. Brock Bowers, Rookie of the Year.
Like if this were a wide receiver stats and not a tight end, I feel like you'd be in the conversation. Like because just in general, you take away the tight end designation, 4th in receiving yards, 1st in receptions is like an amazing season.
Yeah.
Especially with a terrible team.
Yeah, you've got
Exactly.
Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell throwing you the ball.
Yeah,
Now
like
he's got Desmond Ritter. He's been
imagine-
sentenced to Ritter.
Imagine
Like-
if he had Josh. Imagine if he had Josh Allen throwing him the ball, Patrick Mahomes throwing him the ball. He would be even farther along than we see now. Like
can't
Aiden
wait.
O'Connell and Gardner Minshew is crazy.
Yeah, I cannot wait to see Shador in Vegas, and then we get Shador to Brock Bowers. That's gonna be fire.
Yeah.
Okay, my hot take is going back to the Rams. Actually, it's about Puka Nacua. I'm saying right now, and I just don't think he gets enough respect. I think he is genuinely a top 5 receiver in football. Like he probably is 5, but I genuinely think he's a top 5 receiver in football. He just gets no attention. Going into this year is supposed to be him and Cup are 1A, 1B, and that means they're both borderline top 10. He is honestly kind of clearly cleared Cup. Like he is Stafford's favorite target. He is Stafford's go-to guy. You watch him on like the broadcast against that Bills game. Tom Brady's talking about it on every third down, every goal line chance. He's gonna go to Nacua. That's his guy. That's his guy. That's his guy. He's saying this over a great guy like Cup, and it's clear in a way that Nacua is the best receiver on that team somehow.
Well, I mean, Cooper Kupp has aged so much too that obviously I think they're trending towards the direction of targeting Nacua more.
Yeah.
So I think that like maybe that they're choosing him over Kupp isn't like completely just based off ability, but more on like age and wear and tear on Cooper Kupp. But I think I agree with you. I don't know if I had to set out the numbers, and I don't know if he's my 5. I think he's definitely inside 10.
Yeah.
But like
Okay, so the 5 I had laid out was Jettis, Chase,
saying,
1 and 2,
Chase.
easy.
Lamb.
Lamb was 3, and then it's up for debate from there. I had Nico 4-ish and Nacua 5-ish. There's AJ Brown in that conversation, but he can't stop crying about his quarterback, so I'm taking him out of that.
Yeah.
And then Tyreek Hill you can always still have in there, but he has kind of
Age.
regressed a
Yeah.
little bit. So in that case, I
He's
thought
picking it back up.
yeah.
Picking it back up.
I was thinking Nico or Nacua, that's 4 or 5, or if you want to say someone's over them, then they're the debate for 5,
Yeah.
which I think Nacua could edge him. I mean,
what about like
yesterday-
Mike Evans? Like
Mike Evans, I wouldn't put him top 5 anymore. Like he's top 15. He's probably top 10.
Yeah.
But, I mean, when Godwin was there, Godwin was out producing him. Yeah. So it's only since Godwin's gone out that he's kind of picked up. I mean, again, I'm looking at the career stats. I'm going to read them off real quick. In first game of the season, he got hurt, so we're not going to talk about it. But then he had 7 for 106, got hurt again that next game, so didn't really play. Then 9 for 98, 7 for 123, 9 for 117. He had 5 for 56, and then 12 for 162. Yeah. Every game he's had healthy this year, 106, 98, so 2 off 100, 123, 117, 162, 56. Yeah. 5 of his 6 games have been over 100, and by a pretty decent mark, and he's been scoring touchdowns too. Yeah. So I really think, and then, I mean, we all saw his catch. We all saw that toe tap catch against the Bills that was instant. Like, honestly, when Stafford threw it, I literally thought he threw the ball away. And then he somehow came down with that and got 2 feet in. I'm like, this guy is on another level and does not get talked about.
Yeah. Julio Jones did it better.
Julio Jones probably did do it better, but Julio Jones was top 5 too, so I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
All right. But now, we got to move on from hot takes. Let's move over to Hero Zero. Now, we're going to do things a little different this week. Normally, we do Hero Zero for the week, but it's fantasy football playoff season. That's the time of the year it is. We got to help some people win some fantasy football playoffs. We got to tell people the right start decisions for the entire fantasy football playoffs because we won't have another show over like the rest of December. So we're going to do guys that we think are going to overperform in the next 3 weeks for the fantasy football playoffs and guys we think they're going to underperform for the next 3 weeks. So, Mason, you want to kick it off?
I'm going to go 0 first.
Okay. Started different. Okay. We're starting. Yeah, we're getting all negative up in here.
And my 0 is going to be Najee Harris.
Okay.
He's been putting up some pretty good numbers. He's been putting up some pretty good numbers. But they played the Eagles next. Mm-hmm. Eagles, really good run.
Yeah.
Next game, who do they play?
I think it's Houston.
I think it's the Chiefs.
Oh no, it's Chiefs. I think you're right. No, they play. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think it's Chiefs, and then it's Houston.
Yeah. Really good run.
Yeah.
So I don't think, especially what we're talking about the last 3 weeks, he's not going to perform what he needs to be.
Yeah.
And again, how are we calculating this? Like,
we're not really calculating. This is more just for advice. We're not really calculating based off.
But yeah, Najee Harris going against really good rush defense, he's not going to perform the way people want him to.
Yeah.
He's probably going to put up like 6 or 7 points, but in the playoffs, that's not what you want from your starting your flex spot.
Yeah, 100%. Alyssa, what you got?
Okay,
we'll go
so
0
we're starting
now.
with 0.
Yeah, we're starting with 0. We're starting on a negative note, then we end on a
we got to change it up.
For a loop. Okay. I think this one, honestly, at this point is obvious, but I think a lot of people would still be hesitant to bench this guy. You need to bench Deebo Samuel, and you need to have done it like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And if you haven't done it now, I would absolutely do it now before you go into playoffs.
Yeah.
Because this man used to be guaranteed getting you 20-plus points last year and the beginning of this year. The last 4 weeks, he has 6.1, 3.1, 4.0, and 5.5. And that offense is just struggling so much right now. Like, it's not worth sticking him even in your flex.
Yeah.
And they're playing the Rams, Miami, Detroit, Arizona, all good teams. I think you absolutely need to bench him.
And people were saying, like, oh, Brock Purdy's out. That's why he's not performing as good. Brock Purdy comes back, he's still not performing.
Yeah. And Brock Purdy's like Brock Purdy's so banged up now, like it's not worth it.
Yeah, and it's all been Juwan Jennings and George Kittle. Like they've been the actual targets when they the offense moved really well against the Bears, and Deebo still didn't produce.
And I'm sure he's like half hurt too. So
yeah, honest always is. For my 0, I'm gonna go. This is gonna be probably this could have been a hot take. This is gonna be a hot take, and this is gonna make some fantasy owners mad. I'm not saying. I mean, if you have the guts to bench him, maybe. And if you've got the backups to bench him. But I'm not saying you should bench him. I'm just saying he's not going to be your big producer you're expecting. It's Joe Mixon. He's been absolutely amazing this fantasy season. He's been a touchdown machine. He's been getting 100 yards a game. He's been doing great. The next 3 weeks, though, when you're going to have to start him in your fantasy football first round, second round, and championship, it's Pittsburgh, KC, Baltimore. Those are 3 top defenses, but specifically, Baltimore's not a great defense, but they're the number 1 run defense. KC has had some questions in the secondary recently. They've been getting up 300-yard passes every week. They're number 2 in rushing defense. And Pittsburgh, I'm pretty confident, is top 5 or top 10.
Yeah.
These are 3 really great defenses that are going to shut him down. Yes, he gets a lot of touchdowns, so if the offense can still move, he can still get a touchdown a game, and then he's still producing for you in the teens. But he's not going to be your 20 points per game guy. He's not going to be your league winner. He's not going to be what carries you to a fantasy football championship. He actually might be the reason you don't make it.
Connor.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh doesn't play Houston.
Pittsburgh? What?
No. They play the Eagles, Ravens, Chiefs.
Are we sure about that? Did they play? Oh, wait. I'm confused. My bad. But either way,
okay.
they do play
We
KC
definitely
Baltimore.
didn't figure this out like 10 minutes before we started this.
I'm sorry. They did play KC Baltimore, but that's the main point. I mean, fine. If you make it past your first round, your semifinals and your championship game, you're going to face the number 2 and number 1 rushing defenses.
Yeah.
That's going to be underperforming.
Still valid point.
Yeah. Who did they play this week? Why am I lost? I had
The Eagles. I'm telling you. I told you.
Houston? Miami. Okay. They played Miami.
Oh, Houston. Oh, sorry.
Yes. Okay. Well,
Okay.
besides the point, Joe Mixon's not going to be the producer you want him to be when it comes time for semifinals and championship.
Okay.
Okay, now let's go to heroes. Quickly,
Let's
though.
Yeah, my hero is going to be Chase Brown of the Bengals. 20-point fantasy just keeps racking up every week. 20
He's
points,
basically
20
a wide
points,
receiver.
20 points, 20 points. Exactly, and that's why.
Yeah.
That's exactly why.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I put a bet on him last night for 23 receiving yards, and he got 55. And he's consistently gotten 50 4 straight weeks. He's been a wide receiver.
Yeah. My hero is actually old Dallas guy, Amari Cooper. He put up his best performance with Josh Allen this past week with 15.5 points on 14 targets, and obviously that was a shootout. But I think that connection is really growing with him and Josh Allen, and he's become the number 1 guy for Josh Allen. So I think he could win some fantasy leagues.
Yeah. Now I've got. You know what? He won me 2 hero or zeros actually earlier in the year. I'm going back to the old well a third time, and it's Mike Evans. He's consistent. I told you not top 5 receiver. He's still top 15, maybe top 10. He's consistent. Without Godwin, he's definitely top 10. And just in general, they face the Chargers, which is not a great matchup, but then Cowboys and Carolina when it matters most. With no Godwin, McMillan's going to slow down probably. Evans is going to be your league winner. Now, that's all we got for this block. We're headed to commercial break, and we're getting to college football right after the break.
My name's Dennis Abernathy. Lived here since 1968, and I consider myself one of Stillwater's oldest original family jewelers. Here at Dennis the Jeweler, we're more about personal service. My father always told me that anybody can sell the jewelry, and what we're doing is completely different, learning to do the repair work. That is one thing that will keep your business alive, because anybody can sell it, but not anybody can fix it. To me, jewelry is very, very personal. Every piece of jewelry has its own story, and I get to hear hundreds of stories from my clients, which I love to hear. There's always a story with it. I mean, you buy a piece of jewelry for a show of appreciation, a sign of love. There are a lot of different aspects for jewelry when you purchase it.
Welcome back into We Know Ball. Now we're finally getting over to college football. I feel like every single show this semester we've said we're going to get to college football by the last block, and we never get there because we yap too much.
But now we are.
We're
It's Mason's
finally
favorite.
getting to it. Yeah, we're getting to Mason's
Thank
favorite.
you. Tired of talking about the stupid NFL.
And now this past weekend, the Heisman contenders were nominated. It's Cam Ward, Ashton Genty, Travis Hunter, and Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it. What are y'all's opinions? We all basically know it's a 2-man race. Who do y'all got winning the award?
So, I just want to say first, Genty and Hunter, they have the best odds to win, right?
Mm-hmm.
They both do. This is the first time, if it all plays out, this is the first time since 2015 there's not been a quarterback in the top 2 Heisman finalists. Or the winner and the second place runner-up.
It's actually kind of refreshing.
It
It's
is
refreshing
very
to hear
refreshing.
a
And I
skill
wish
player.
the NFL, sorry to go back to it, but I wish the NFL would do that with their MVP award, because I'm just sick and tired of it being a quarterback award.
Yeah.
And just real quick, can you name those 2 players? 2015.
2015, was that Derrick Henry, I'm assuming?
Yep, Derrick Henry was the winner. Who was the runner-up?
Was it a wide receiver or running back?
Running back.
I don't want to. No, that Mark Ingram was before that. I don't know. What school? Was it
Stanford.
Chris McCaffrey? Oh, okay.
Okay,
Yeah, Christian
shout out.
McCaffrey. So,
Okay.
Derrick Henry and Christian McCaffrey, 2015. 2 running backs, both the top finalists.
Yeah.
So, it is a big refresher.
When was
Yeah.
the last time a guy that played cornerback at all, though, was in the
Corner?
Like a defensive
corner?
player.
Yeah.
Was even
Cornerback.
up for Heisman. That's
Yeah.
actually a good point.
That's a good, someone look that up.
I'll look it up.
Okay.
I'll look it
I
up.
don't think
Mason,
Night Train Lane, I don't know.
Well, I mean, and this is kind of different just because he does play wide receiver, and obviously if he was just playing cornerback, he probably would not be in the Heisman race, but
Yeah.
still.
But I've got Genty. And I know everybody's like, oh, Hunter, he's a 2-way player. You know what? There's a lot of people in D2 and D3 doing the same numbers, doing the same thing, but they don't get any recognition because they're not playing for Deion Sanders.
Passionate about this one.
And I'm saying, Travis Hunter, he is a good receiver. He is a good corner. But just because he plays both sides means he deserves a Heisman? No. I'm sorry. They used to do it all the time back then.
Yeah.
Nobody cared because it was normal. Now it's not normal. Somebody does it, everybody freaks out, okay?
Yeah.
It's not happening. Genty, so close to beating Barry Sanders' record. He's probably going to do it if they count it towards the playoff stats.
Yeah.
I actually had a question about that. Will they count that?
Yeah, it'll count to the record.
It'll have an
But like,
it'll have an asterisk.
was Barry's?
Barry's was in 11 games.
Okay.
He did it in the regular season.
It'll have an asterisk.
Yeah. No, Barry did in 11 games. Genty's obviously already played 13, and he's about to have a 14th. So there will be an asterisk, but it will count towards the record.
But breaking a
yes.
record, it's been around for, 30 years? 40? Almost 40?
It's been 40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's generational talent.
Well, like if Barry,
That's a Heisman winner.
but if Barry had 13 or 14 games, he would be way above.
No, but here's what I'm going to say. I was going to talk about this, but I'll go for real quick. For the debate between what I don't like is when people are discrediting Genty about the fact that he's already played 2 more games. First and foremost, we can talk about the fact that he's missed multiple second halves because they've been in blowout wins.
Yeah.
But that's not where I'm going to go with this. Through 13 games for Genty, he has 344 carries. Through 11 games for Barry, he had 344 carries. They're at the exact same number of carries at the current moment. Now, that does mean, yes, he wouldn't have broke Sanders' record in the same amount of carries. He's going to need more carries. But it's not like these 2 or 3 extra games is going to put him 100 carries over Sanders. He's going to end however many carries he gets in the next game, like 25 carries, 20 carries over Sanders. Like, it's not an astounding difference. The game's difference, but the actual usage rate, not that different.
I wonder what the yards per carry.
Sanders is 7.6, Genty 7.3. You're averaging 7.3 yards per carry as a running back.
Wild.
Like, that is Heisman.
In
That is
nowadays
Heisman.
game.
And they're stacking the box. Like, he's not facing, like, 7-man, 6-man boxes. He's facing consistently 8-man boxes. And he's
Ollie
seeing
Gordon can
9
figure it
boxes
out.
sometimes. Yeah. Like, the same thing's happening to Ollie when you can focus a running back. You can take them out of the games. Obviously, there's some other issues with Oklahoma State. But Genty, he's getting focused. He's getting focused. They don't have a great passing game at all. Actually, they have a pretty bad passing game.
Yeah.
But it's opened up so much because Genty's that good. And then even with the passing game opening up, Genty's still getting 200 yards a game.
Yeah.
All right. Who do you have?
Who do you got? I think it's pretty clear who we've got.
Yeah.
Okay, I have who I want to win, and I have who I think is going to get picked to win.
Okay.
I want Genty. I agree with you. I see all the points. I think he should be the Heisman. I do think, however, that Travis Hunter, just because of the media storm that he's caused, that he's going to get it.
God, I hate the media.
Because technically, he is the most, like, dynamic player. Like, he is the most exciting player. He does the craziest things. I'm not saying that's what the Heisman is, but that's what gets attention.
Yeah.
And that's what people are going to
He's
look
flashy.
at.
He's flashy.
Yeah, he's flashy. It's unique. It's exciting. If there was a uniqueness award, he should and would win it. I just think, like...
The Heisman isn't a uniqueness award.
I know it's not.
It's the best player in college football.
No, but I agree
I
with
know
her.
it's
Honestly,
not.
I agree with her. We all here, I guess,
I'm saying that Genty should win.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
saying that I think they're going to pick wrong.
No, they're going to pick Hunter. Like,
Yeah.
it's going to happen. Like, I already know Hunter's winning the award.
Yeah.
But it should go to Genty. But here's the one thing I do want to say. The one thing I have seen with this debate that has upset me a little bit with, like, a lot of college football fans, and maybe Mason a little bit now, too, is discrediting Hunter to pick up Genty. These are 2 generational great Heisman years. Like, honestly, in my opinion, Genty or Hunter are beating out Daniels last year. They're beating out Caleb the year before. They're both beating out Devontae Smith the year before. Burrow probably still wins it. Maybe not Genty, though, if he breaks the record. But Burrow still wins it. But the last 3 Heismans would have lost to both of these guys. So we're acting like trying to tear down either one, saying they're not, like, they don't deserve the Heisman. They both very well deserve the Heisman.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate for one of them that they're having to face the other.
Yeah. And I think it's about what they've both done for inside of their conferences, too. Like, Boise State coming in and now having a bye in the college football playoff is because of one singular person on that team, Ashton Genty.
Yeah.
Colorado almost getting into the Big 12 title when they were ranked in the preseason in the bottom 4. Like, that's legitimate just value to your team, elevating to them to such a level that no one predicted before the season. So.
Yeah. Now, they both really boosted their teams up. Like, both these teams are not... I mean, Boise State was picked maybe as one of the contenders, but not a first-round bye 3 seed.
No, nobody knew that rule until it happened.
That the group of 5 could even get the top... Yeah, exactly.
Everybody thought it was just...
They were
like the
locked
Power
into the
4
12,
champions got the bye.
Yeah.
They weren't talking about, like, what if one of the Power 4 champions has 2 losses and the other one has... and the group of 5 has 1.
Yeah.
And it's against the number 1 team in the nation.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one thing I do want to talk about that kind of that upsets me a little before we get into 12-team playoff is, like you said, the media and them kind of boosting up Hunter.
Yeah.
In the sense of, when it comes to awards. Obviously, we know Ginty's up for the Doak Walker. He's going to win it. He's the best running back in the nation. That's for sure. But when it comes to Hunter, he's going to probably win Heisman now because he's up for Best Defensive Player of the Year and he's up for Best Wide Receiver, like the Blinikoff. He doesn't deserve to be in either of those awards. He wasn't on the top 3 Best DBs award, which means he's not a top 3 DB, but he's somehow a top 3 defensive player. Yeah. And he's not a top 3 wide receiver. He's great, but Nick Nash deserves to be there, obviously. T-Mac should win it. McMillan should win the award. And one of Trey Harris, Burden has had a down year for the season. Trey Harris honestly deserves to be up for that award. He's been amazing. He missed a couple games. Maybe that's why they're knocking him. Mm-hmm. And the Restrepo for Miami deserves to be there. Both those guys deserve to be there over Hunter. And if he's not up for Best Wide Receiver and Best Defensive Player and Best DB, he's not winning Heisman. Yeah. But they put him in those awards that he doesn't deserve to be in, and now he's going to win probably. Yeah.
Where's Brendan Presley with all the receptions?
You know what? He deserves a shout for sure, especially for putting up with getting the ball thrown to him by Bowman.
Yeah. So and Maluki Smith and whoever else we wanted to throw out there.
Yep. So because again, Hunter also has. We also got to talk about the fact that Hunter has Shador throwing the ball. Like that should also hurt his case a little bit in a sense of you've got a great quarterback.
Okay, Madison's not bad. Madison is not bad.
He's not. Shador Sanders the projected number 1 and number 2 pick in the draft.
I guess.
Okay, but we talked too much about Heisman. We're all in agreement here. We all think it should be Ginty. I just had to bring up a couple things. Let's get into the 12-team playoff. There's a lot of controversy we can go here. Let's first and foremost just go, did the committee get it right? Do you think after conference championship weekend it should have been SMU or it should have been Bama? We'll get into everything else in a minute. SMU or Bama, did the committee get it right?
If SMU was still playing in the American, they would have got it wrong. And since they're in a Power 4 conference now, they got it right, definitely. As much as I love Bama, I'm not a huge fan, but I like them. I like them as a team. I like people that go there. I have a bunch of friends. But it was just the right call. Yeah. Especially with SMU playing the way they did against Clemson. Yeah. It was a heck of a conference game. It really kept the integrity of conference games.
Yeah. Yes. I think that's the reason they had to do it. They have to honor the fact that we put you in the conference game. Alabama didn't get a conference game, so therefore you don't get to be in the playoff. But, I mean, then you could go back arguing, okay, who did we, put in the conference game? But I think that you're right, that they got it right. I just do, and especially because Alabama has terrible losses. They have great wins, but they have terrible losses against Oklahoma and Vanderbilt. And so that alone really should knock them out. But at the same time, I do understand the strength of schedule argument just because I know you don't like that argument, but SMU hasn't beaten a top 25 team. Yeah. And Alabama has. Here's where I feel like the strength of the schedule argument gets out of hand, and this is where I don't agree with it. Alabama saying, look, we played a harder schedule. Yeah, but you lost to 2 6 and 6 teams. It's not your hard schedule is the reason. It's not like you played a hard schedule and lost to those good teams, and now you're getting kept out of the playoffs. No, you lost to the 6 and 6 teams. That's why you're not in the playoffs. You're not in the playoffs because you got beat by 21 by OU. That's why you're not in the college football playoffs. So I think 100% the committee got this right. I do agree, though, with what Nick Saban said on the college football show right after. And here's what he said. He said, again, strength of schedule should be brought into point. He said they had to put in SMU because you have to keep the integrity of conference championships. I 100% agree with that. I love that they did that. However, his argument was Bama should have just been ranked above SMU before the conference championships. Yep. That I can see an argument for, and that I can agree with. However, here's where we can get into something else. I don't think Bama should have even been the team that was on the bubble. Yeah. A lot of people are arguing it should have been South Carolina. I think it should have been Ole Miss. What do y'all think? Should it have been Bama, or should it have been Ole Miss, or should it have been South Carolina, or should it have been Miami? Miami was also there. Who should have been that bubble team?
Either Miami or South Carolina. South Carolina had an incredible season. You forget Lenore Sellers. He's a freshman.
Yeah, no, he was.
He's a freshman. And they have Rocket Sanders in the backfield. They have a really good wide receiver core. You put that whole team together. I know they had some bad losses. I know they lost to a 4-8 Kentucky team.
That's Ole Miss.
The season.
That's Ole Miss. South Carolina doesn't have no bad losses. No. South Carolina's only losses are Bama, Ole Miss, the two teams ranked right above them, and then LSU.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to say for that LSU.
Yeah, there is a lot to say about that LSU loss. The refs kind of screwed them. Yeah. That Bama game, very close, very very close.
Oh yeah, 2 point loss.
Yep. And then
got ran by Ole Miss.
Ole Miss.
24.
But
27-3.
We can't.
But Ole Miss also lost to LSU.
Yeah, in overtime though.
We,
So
we
a
can't
little- so
we
same
can't
kind of
drag them
scenario,
down
yeah.
for winning against 3 ranked teams.
Yeah.
So they should definitely been in the bubble over Bama, I believe, and then Miami's Miami.
Yeah.
It's Miami.
Yeah. I mean, I think what people don't value enough too in looking at this is the teams that have beaten the top 2 teams. Like, let's look at who's beaten Georgia. Like,
Yep.
Bama beat Georgia.
Ole Miss beat Georgia.
Ole Miss beat Georgia. And now Georgia's number 2 team in the nation.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. They're, like, close losses, and you're obviously going to drop those teams. And Georgia had an absolute gauntlet of a schedule. But I think it should be valued, too, at a certain level. Who are those top teams that you beat that can kind of push you over the edge?
Yeah. But I will say, I'll defend the committee real quick before we wrap up. Honestly, it was an impossible decision.
It was, yeah.
First and foremost,
Everyone's
the
always-
SMU-Bama thing, impossible. Second off, if you look at Bama, Ole Miss, South Carolina, it almost is impossible to say. Because you can look at, like, comparison games. Obviously, Ole Miss, South Carolina both lost to LSU. Bama beat LSU by 29.
Yeah.
But then you look at the fact that Bama beat South Carolina only by 2, only beat Georgia by 7, and Ole Miss beat Georgia by 18 and South Carolina by 24. So with all of them facing like opponents and all winning and like even Ole Miss beat OU by 12.
Yeah.
So again, a team that beat Bama. So they all beat each other up, which is what the SEC did. And so at that point, you just got to flip a coin and pick which one you want. I think Ole Miss was the most deserving. Obviously, you think South Carolina. What was your final opinion?
I think it should have been Bama. A little bit,
Bama.
but
Okay, so
yeah.
again, it's honestly an impossible decision. I think the committee got saved by Clemson winning, so they didn't have to make it.
Yeah.
So, but on that note, we're running out of time. So that's all we got for this week's We Know Ball show, and we will be back after the break, but in a different location. Bang.
South Carolina did play Kentucky, but they beat them.
So yeah, exactly. They all just beat up on each other. Like
But